Hello and welcome to India Today. I am Sanjay Ponappa.
And this is Maruti Acharya. Sorry for the excitement. Because I'm meeting you guys, I was excited. But the topic
Sure.
today that we are going to talk about is one of the biggest, most anticipated, and most discussed film, Toxic, which was supposed to release on March 19th, unfortunately, is postponed. And makers released the press note saying, considering the current geopolitical situations, the war that is happening, that is why they have postponed the film.
So when the big news broke today morning, it did have its impact because we were kind of moving in towards the rush week, right? We were, gearing up for the trailer launch. The invites had already started rolling out. We were all hyped up for what the trailer might be. There was a lot of discourse, a video on which we made the Tabai song that released recently, and everything that happened after its release.
Not just the song, we spoke about a lot of things. The link will be provided in the description.
Yes.
Do not miss to check that out.
People were kind of looking forward to, will the trailer at least be finally wholesome, with a wholesomely positive reception? But it seems like none of that is going to happen for the next couple of months. The reality that we didn't want happening when the clash was announced, something that we were like, no, one of the films should move forward or something like that. And then we finally started sinking into that reality that the clash is inevitable, and it was arguably going to be one of Indian cinema's biggest clash, but seems like that reality totally shifted because of the war that is going on, and Toxic is going to release on June 4th now.
Yeah, though the makers have released the official statement saying that these are the reasons why we have decided to push the date, social media users have a different, not just one theory, a lot of theories about this. What are the benefits of this postponement? How is the movie going to benefit with the postponement? We'll talk about that. I think firstly, any film, not just this film, like we spoke in a lot of other videos, clash might seem interesting, but it is not healthy when you look at big films with big numbers, big investment. One movie might get undue advantage over the other, and you know the drill, right? So that might happen, which is one thing. So postponement is always great. Having a solo release is great. Second thing is, because it is June 5th, which is right after summer season where everything is starting, it is also dry period, but a very interesting period, because June, July is when, I think 2 or 3 years ago, Kalki 2898 AD, another Prabhas big pan-India film released, and it did cross 1,000 crores. So that movie has shown that it has potential. The summer is over, people might come to theaters, and if again there is no competition, it is going to be a very interesting season.
There's no major releases. There is one Bollywood film, Hai Jawani To Ishq Hona Hai, which stars Varun Dhawan, Pooja Hegde and Mrunal Thakur in the lead. Apart from that, there's no other major film that has locked that date. There are a lot of speculations about film releasing in June or something. This push to June is actually quite beneficial to Toxic as well as to all the other films that is releasing.
Imagine if Toxic is releasing. Now the clash is between Dhurandhar 2 and Toxic, right? Dhurandhar Part 1 also was banned in a lot of Gulf and Arab countries. So from the first part itself, the money that it has made, it has been clear that Dhurandhar is not aiming for the markets or the territories which are in war right now.
The Middle
Eastern market. So it is, even if Dhurandhar 2 is releasing, it's not gonna affect the impact or the collections or the release planning that the makers are, following. But when it comes to Toxic is, simultaneously made in English and Kannada, so that it is catering to global audience. That is the original idea of Toxic. Keeping in mind the global audience is what the makers have made the film. So one market, such a big market for Indian cinema, if that is taken a hit, that is definitely a hit. One is competition, because Dhurandhar is releasing, so in India also half of the market has gone. And then if UAE market, all the Saudi Arabian countries, that market has also gone, it will be a huge impact commercially also, irrespective of the talk. So in a way, it is good for the makers of Toxic to postpone the film, because considering the situations both in India and abroad, it is a safe bet, is how I would put it.
It is a mature decision to make, is what I think, because not just the Middle Eastern market, this is where Toxic kind of had an upper hand. And that is something that the overseas distributors do not want to let go of. If you consider the North American market as well, it feels like, it is being split in both ways, and the Dhurandhar advantage, the proximity with which the first part and the second part is releasing, all of it is a major advantage for Dhurandhar. So this particular overseas market was exactly where the upper hand was, and it feels like the international distributors do not want to let go of that advantage, and it is rightfully so, because
Yeah.
they've already paid over 100 crores to get the rights, as well as they are spending more on promotions across the world.
Yeah.
So when you consider the cost of all of this, it feels like the investment should not go in vain for that particular distributor. And KVN Productions, along with Monster Mind, which is Yash's production house, have probably taken that into consideration to come up with this decision.
Toxic also, again, because of the geopolitical situation or any other external factors, if the movie, despite of good talk, if it is not able to perform, that is the big hit, because end of the day, cinema is also business. So considering all these factors, I think it is a very smart and mature decision.
How would you feel if you were, KVN production, and with Jananayagan and Toxic, your next release was going to be KD, and that kind of is very important because KD is in April.
Yeah.
April 30th or 31st. And if KD is the first film out of the three to come out, and the other two, are facing so many struggles, what would your feeling be?
See, it is definitely disheartening for any producer or production house, because mounting such big scale project, having that ambition, and all of these films are riding on lot of expectations. These are not just normal films, because Dhruva Sarja is not a small star in Kannada cinema as well. So whenever it is the Dhruva Sarja film, that expectations is there. There for Jananayagan, it is Talapati Vijay's last on-screen appearance, at least reportedly. So the expectations, what fans want, how they want to celebrate the star, that is there. And when KGF, after KGF is Yash is coming, after taking such a big gap, and then doing something, he could have actually gone with what, Prashant Neel again, or Rajamouli. Any big director across India would be, looking forward to work with Yash, but he still chose content, he still chose Geetu Mohandas. And again, for the people who didn't watch Muthon, if you watch Muthon, irrespective of whatever is your opinion about the promotional material, you will still have hopes on the film. So when a actor come writer is taking such a big bet after such a monstrous thing, and KVN is backing, so all of these films are not just business, it is beyond that. Very sad situation, but hopefully they will come out pretty soon.
While this has been about Toxic, the buzz also indicates that because of the war and everything else that is going on surrounding it, there's a lot of speculation suggesting that another major film will also be looking to postpone. There's no official confirmation, although there's a lot of talks about it. Once the official confirmation comes out, we can talk about it more, but this is also the buzz.
So let me put it very simple. 4 big films were supposed to release: Peddi, Paradise, Dhurandhar 2, Toxic, out of which 3 of them are not in March race anymore. Is it just 3 of them, or there are no pan-India films? That we'll have to wait and watch. What do you think about this? Mention that in the comments below. I would request you to subscribe, like and share while you're doing all of that.
Yes. With that, I am Sanjay Ponappa.
And this is Maruti Acharya.
And you're watching India Today.